r/AskReddit by Reddit. What's the worst case of helicopter parenting you've seen? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy the video. Working summer orientation for Mild Community College, and we have new students register for classes towards the end of the session. Counselors are there to help with class selection. This one mom was literally hovering over her son, telling him which classes to choose and completely ignoring the counselor's advice. When she had him stand up, she proceeded to sit down and she herself started registering her son for his classes. I tried to intervene, letting her know that we ask that the student register themselves and that he'll be doing online registration for the rest of his college career. I was told to duck off. Later I pulled him aside and told him to change his password and swap into a class more appropriate for his placement exams. It was this incident that triggered us to design a parent orientation to keep them away from their kids. Welcome to adulthood, lol bro. That was a great idea to separate the parents and kids at this point. It was good. Allowed us to design information sessions like adult boundaries, how to appropriately support their student, and literally one on how to let go. Lol. While working at new student orientation in college, I was told a story from a previous year. The parents who attended orientation were housed separately from the students. One mom wanted to stay with her daughter and took the bed of another student. The mom told the student she can find somewhere else to sleep. The student, not knowing what to do, ended up sleeping in a chair in the common area of the dorm. In a different twist on this story, my mom helped me move into my college dorm. She put the sheets on my bed and then proceeded to fall asleep on it. I had to bring all of my stuff up a 3-story walk up by myself while she took a nap. I guess that's whatever the opposite of a helicopter parent is. Submarine parent. Wait until you hear about an ex-girlfriend of mine. We met in elementary school and reconnected later in our 20s. She was very shy and timid, but sweet and intelligent. I thought I would give it a go. She was 24 and still lived with her parents, no big deal to me. I didn't move out on my own until a few months before we began dating. Little did I know that it wasn't really her choice to live there. Her mother was incredibly controlling and was the worst helicopter parent I've ever come across. Her mom would repeatedly say to us, "It's nice you guys are dating, but I think you're both too young to be doing it." Mind you, we were both 24. She also mentioned, on several occasions, I didn't begin dating until I was in my 30s. I don't think anyone should date until they're 32-35. Things like that. My girlfriend was really annoyed by her comments and constantly got into this weird teenage-like arguments with her. One time her mom said, "Oh, that's just your young hormones kicking in." That was weird. Anyway, my girlfriend had to text her mom before she left anywhere, and when she arrived, her mom used to Google map the time and distance between places. If she forgot to text her, she received an insane amount of phone calls or texts. Her mom made her get paper checks so her mom could keep track of her money and would not allow her to get direct deposit. She was also way over precautious about things. One time we went for a walk around dusk. She lived in a small town, population 2,000 to 2,500, and lived on the side of town that was well lit and hardly any sort of vehicle traffic. Her mother sent her dozens of texts within minutes of us leaving, begging her to come home because you're both not wearing reflective clothing and this is a bad idea because it's getting dark and I'm trying to protect you. Walking in the dark is incredibly dangerous. This and that. As a side note, her mom also used to make little hits at me for my job at the time. She said, "I don't think it's a good career path." I worked at a bank as a relationship manager, managing bank accounts and opening investment accounts for higher net worth individuals, and was looking to get my MBA. I was actively studying for the GRE exam. That's just your hormones kicking in, lol. When does this lady think puberty occurs? Was your girlfriend just getting mid-20s angst? Poor thing. I hope she gets free one day. My son told me about this one. 5th grade overnight trip to nature center. Kid's mom went, was only parent that wasn't a teacher to go, had a complete meltdown when she was told that her kid would be sleeping in cabin with other kids and not her. She was told this before trip as well. 4 teachers per cabin, basically overnight school. He said she basically spent the entire night outside watching the cabin. Really creeped everyone out. Man, the rant she went on Facebook. At least her friends and family called her out on her nonsense. Imagine quite a few people got blocked that day. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. When I went to 5th grade science camp, a fair number of parents came along to chaperone, including my mom, and they did stay in the same cabins as us. At some point I washed my hair, and the other mom in the cabin flipped out at me for going about my day with wet hair. Like physically stopped me and tried to roughly towel dry my hair. Need I remind you, my own mother was present. I believe my mom ultimately stepped in to be like, what the heck, back off. So weird. I think I recall that same mom flipping out on another girl for wearing mismatched socks. Ugh, this one kid I knew from elementary high school. The mom didn't have a job and somehow managed to be at his school every single day, watching over him. In elementary she was a volunteer teacher's aide every year, which meant she would help out in whatever class he was in. By middle school, she was the head of the PTA, and although not necessary, she was at the campus almost every day. She would just wander around and eventually, the school stopped caring, and she could do whatever she wants. She would randomly pop into one of his classes and just observe or come up to him to hang out with him at lunch. The kid was 24/7 stressed the hell out, his whole body always clenched up. His mom put immense pressure on him to do well in school, both academically and behavior wise. He had an extremely hard time making friends and eventually he was bullied to the point of randomly getting beat up. Made it to the first year of high school before he had to transfer to another school. It's her fault. All she wanted was for him to be smart and polite to teachers, and he never got to learn how to just be a guy and make friends. I would just love to dissect her thoughts and actually reason with her, but I know these sort of people will flip out if you talk about their parenting in any shape or forms. I hope the kid managed to step away from his mom and live his life without her control. From what I know, he went off and joined the Marines. He was desperate to just be a part of a group as a teen, and with the Marines he learned camaraderie and now is always posting pics of him and his Marine buddies. Worked out for him in the end, I think. Yay, happy ending. My sons befriended the new kid in middle school. Homeschooled through elementary school years, but parents wanted him to interact with kids. He's a good kid. Smart, but guarded and sheepish, but he got along great with my sons. They want to have a sleepover. He gets dropped off, and his mother hands me a list. Had to be 4 pages of his routine, dos and don'ts and everything. Adam is not to have anything to drink after the hour of 8 PM. He needs to brush his teeth with the toothbrush we sent him with. He needs to be asleep by blah blah blah. I have 3 kids. I can keep a 12-year-old kid alive for 20 hours without a list. She would text me non-stop. I felt bad for the kid. I'll let him know, listen, if you bend a few of these rules, I'll never tell your mom if you won't. And he had this huge smile. I'm not sure what kind of people helicopter parents think they're creating, but it can't be a fun one, that's for sure. In college, a girl's mom stayed in her room with her the first week of our freshman year. Went to classes with her, ate with her, and attended our dorm meeting, introducing herself as Crystal's mommy. She finally went home, and Crystal had obviously never learned to do anything on her own. Her roommate dated a guy in my floor, and would tell us about her daily, multiple calls home. She didn't know how to do laundry, so mommy paid roommate to do it for her. By midterm, Crystal was failing all her classes, and had basically just given up going to class as it was too hard. Again mommy shows up, stays 2 weeks, talks to her professors, then pulled her out of school. I'm curious what she's doing now. Hopefully she broke out on her own and gained some independence. I'm curious what she's doing now. Hopefully she broke out on her own and gained some independence. Probably married a guy who will take care of her like her mother did. Of course the mother probably found the guy for her. If that is your boat, then by all means float down the river in it. Was that guy once. Unless you are a control freak, once kids come, taking care of everything for another adult becomes soul crushing and leads to major issues. As an RA, I was checking students into their dorm rooms. One mother came with her son, who looked to be about 25, and she would not let him get a single word in. She went on about it being his first year in college, and that she was finally approving of him moving away from home and actually going to college. A big yikes we kept an eye on later. When he was assigned to a traditional room with a roommate, she flipped her crap, saying how she wanted him in an apartment so she could stay with him whenever she wanted. Can't do that anyway, and she would withdraw him from school if she didn't get her way. Thankfully, I was already dead inside from dealing with other residents, so I checked her son in and immediately gave him the number of my boss in case his mother gave any more problems while he was moving in. I later heard from another RA that she tried to prevent the roommate from entering their shared room, even though her son was desperately trying to get her to leave. The RA and student security had to escort her out of the building where she sat until her son was done moving in. The son was actually a really cool dude once his mother was out of his hair, and a really involved student, happy to be on his own and living the college life, even if he was a bit older. His mom still managed to call our duty phones asking about him, but because of federal laws we just hung up. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.